little creepy. Welcome everyone, this is Guts and Glory. We're going to talk today about Injera. I'm Summer Bock. This is Lauren Haynes from Wooden Spoon Herbs.
Hi.
And we're just going to make an awesome, what I call, it's an Ethiopian fermented pancake, sour pancake if you will. I mean, that's probably not what they call it. They say Injera. And it's delicious. So if you go to an Ethiopian restaurant, your food is going to come on a giant pancake, and it's all sitting there, and you eat the food with this flatbread. Essentially, you use it as the utensil. So it's an amazing process. We have this special Injera Cooker right here. So we're going to practice making it today, and I'm going to show you. It's actually pretty simple. So first, you want to start off with some teff. Teff is the tiniest grain in the world. This is teff flour. We got the Bock's red mill kind. I actually think it's really fresh tasting. It's super yummy. So I usually use about 1 or 2 cups of this because I don't make a ton at a time. And then I add some water, usually about 1 cup, and I let it ferment for about a day or 2. Basically, it starts to get bubbly. I cover it usually with like a wooden cutting board, and I let it sit for 24 to 48 hours, get a little bit bubbly. And so what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna pour this into a new bowl right now. So this is our fermented teff and water. So there's lactobacillus, there's yeast growing in here, but there's a lot of bacteria that have made it sour using lactic acid as their kind of byproduct. And you can smell it. It smells slightly sour.
It smells so good. It smells amazing. It smells wonderful.
I love it. Okay, so then I'm going to add a little bit of salt because you need some salt to make when you start cooking it. I'm going to do, I think a ½ teaspoon of salt there.
Sure.
And then I'm going to add a little bit of baking powder. It helps it rise a little bit. It cuts some of the sour flavor. I'm going to do just, a ½ teaspoon of that as well. So, oh, by the way, this salt is from this is from Oregon.
Awesome.
From the ocean that's on the west coast. Pacific one?
Pacific one?
Yes, I know.
I've heard of it.
I almost forgot the name. Pacific Ocean.
The West Ocean.
The West Coast Coastion. Okay, so you're gonna mix all this stuff up, and this is just gonna be really pretty thin. So I'm gonna kind of show you how we do this.
So you don't add any unfermented flour?
I didn't. Other people do sometimes. I just do the fermented version of it. This is just my preference.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's delicious this way. I mean, I want it to have fermented for a day or 2 so that the flours have had a chance to break down.
Right.
If I add fresh flour to it, it's going to be like more starchy, and that flour will be harder to digest.
Gotcha.
So in my mind, the point of this is to like make the starch easier to digest. Also, okay, so let's talk a little bit about this crazy Injera cooker. It took me a while to find this. I finally got it at an Ethiopian supply store in Portland. Here, I'll put this up here. Write that down if you want this.
People in the background are having fun. They're fishing.
They are. Look, and here's the item number. Hope you can read that.
Could you use any kind of wide flat skillet?
Yes, you can use. I used to teach this using cast iron pan, but you have to use oil because you have to get this up to like 500 degrees. That's the key, is having this be really, really hot. And so, I mean, it is really getting hot in there right now. So that's the major secret to like making, authentic injera. So just know that ideally you want one of these.
Okay.
If you're going to make the real thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, otherwise you end up with like kind of a greasy flatbread.
Gotcha.
Still close.
Sounds good.
Greasy flatbread. Okay, so I'm just rinsing off my little doolima here. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to use a metal one. Okay, this is all sort of an experiment, guys. I've seen some people use oil on this and some people not. We're going to try it without oil and hope that we're able to give you guys a good example. So I'm just going to use this little thingy. I kind of wish I had a little bit bigger one because what I really want to do is I want to kind of like spread it out really fast. So it's almost like dosas, like in Indian food. Or crepes, exactly. So I'm just going to put some on here, do this. No, cover up.
It's cooking really fast.
It's cooking really fast. Okay, so let's just try this. I didn't get it very big. We're gonna cover it, supposedly just like 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow, so it cooks itself from the top and the bottom.
Yep.
No flipping required.
You do not flip it.
Wow.
But I think I'm gonna try this plastic guy because I'm nervous about the non-stick situation. See, here's the thing. I did a lot of research because I wanted to try to get a non-stick one.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find one.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure traditionally they probably stick like, you know, these like cast iron things over like a fire or something.
Right. To get it hot.
Look at that.
It's beautiful.
People.
Looks like a giant cookie.
Okay. I'm so nervous. This is like melt my solid rock. Let's see what happens here. So remember, I didn't add any oil. Yeah.
Lovely. Look at that. That's so pretty.
No oil. This is just flour, water. Yeah.
What was the ratio of flour and water?
I used probably about 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of water.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's try this again. I think obviously what's missing is called technique.
I've heard of it.
Something that I'm sure that you develop when you practice this a lot. Yeah. I am gonna try this little guy now. I mean, it's just a little bit bigger. I'm gonna see if I can actually.
That's gonna melt.
That's what I'm worried about.
It's gonna melt.
Okay, let's do this.
We could do.
We're just gonna use this. I got it. I'm ready.
All
what are you gonna do?
I was looking for a metal spoon, but I'm sure you would have already grabbed it.
Yeah, no, I don't have one. Okay, I'm ready. I know what we're gonna do here.
Yeah. How thin do you want it?
See, the thinner the better. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm having a little bit of trouble. This is obviously like...
I'm having trouble not eating this.
This is obviously my 5th rodeo. You can eat it.
I know what you're doing.
It's not my first rodeo, but it's definitely not like my 100th. What do you think?
Highly satisfying.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm. My brain wants it to be chocolate, but it's not. It's really good.
Oh my god, that's so good.
It's so good.
You know what's nice about it? It's like I used to make this with oil, and it was crazy with the oil because it like it get crispy on the bottom. This is soft. Can you imagine putting like like some sort of like lentil-y deliciousness or like steamed greens that are like cooked to death? I love Ethiopian food. Ethiopian food is my favorite. So how do you know it's done? Is that it all gets evenly the same color? Like here, there's still some light parts. That part is not ready yet. So want to just let it cook. Like it really is doing this pretty fast, 1 to 3 minutes. Make sure that it's cooked all the way through. The sourness and adding a little bit of baking soda is what causes all the bubbles to form, and those bubbles are what really help to cook it. It steams out all of the moisture really quick, and then you end up with this awesome doodad.
And it's really neutral. It could be sweet or savory.
Yeah,
Veggies or
that's a good point.
Something fruit.
You taste that like nuttiness.
It has a little bit of a texture.
God, I love it. So, as you can see, one of the biggest requirements here is going to be the Injera Cooker. Supposedly at Injera restaurants, they go through these like crazy because these start to melt off because they're like keeping it at 500 degrees for hours and hours, and it's not quite an industrial machine.
I think in 10 minutes you could make like a week's supply of these. Do you think they'd freeze well?
Oh, you know what? I have one of my fermentationists is checking that out.
Cool.
She asked the exact same thing, so she's trying it.
Perfect.
Oh, I just can't stop. Look how beautiful and like flat that is, but yet like still like light and airy and.
It's really wonderful. It's kind of like a sourdough pancake, but it's lighter and thinner, so it's like.
Well, do you know why this is done?
Luxury.
There's a little history here. So, teff has a lot of phytase in it, and that's one of your enzyme blockers. It makes it hard to digest when you have phytase present. So it like binds up with all your digestive enzymes, and basically things don't digest properly. So you end up not absorbing certain vitamins. When you do this, like when you ferment this teff in this way, you basically get rid of those phytases, and the various organisms in there are helping with that process. So this is like one way to help with like us as humans, our weak digestive tracts. We have these like spindly little, weak digestive tracts compared to most mammals and most other animals in general. And so we have to prep our food in a lot of different ways. And I think that's where fermentation comes in a lot of times is, fermented foods really help to pre-digest things so then we can absorb more from it. So this ends up being a highly nutritious food.
Wow.
And we're going to go now and finish this. So
yeah.
we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining.